Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Cloud9 podcast, season 9, episode 6. If you guys want to hear our opinions about the previous first days of the League of Legends 2023 World Championship, episode 5 is out. I told you guys for this year, for the World Championship, we were going to be doing some extra episodes of the Cloud9 podcast for you guys. I always kind of hope to do this for like most international events because by the time we can even get to an episode, like so much has happened where we can't even basically say everything that we even thought during that day because, well, usually when like Worlds or like other international events are going on, they always come on at like really wacky times where this is like the first year we're all even able to do like watch parties for it, you know, because last year, like it was in America when I would get home, like Worlds was already just starting. So it started like 5 o'clock, which is like already 8 for you if it starts actually.
Yeah.
So we couldn't even do watch parties because by the time the games are over, I had to do like other podcasts and content. Chaz is already half dead. So he'd be just like, all right, I'm just gonna he said the games ended so fast it didn't really matter, honestly. But
and then the games that we want to watch are the later games, and the games we end up watching are fucking stomps. Like, it's like the games that we want to watch are late at night, and the games that they show is like.
And remember last year because I know people have been saying they kind of miss Worlds format last year. This is why the previous years of that format also kind of sucked for the most part because when a group is decided after like the first 2 games, if no upsets happen, the rest of the games honestly don't matter because it's basically just a speed run to see who's gonna be toward the end. You're basically just trying to get to a tiebreaker game of the best teams in the group, you know. So like this happened last year with JDG and Damwon where fucking they shit stomped G2 and EG so hard to the point where the entire day was just a speed run to get to fucking Damwon versus JDG. Then Canyon pulls out his dick and makes him suck it. And then after that, you had that tiebreaker game where Duck Dom is so garbage at Aphelios that he just threw Damwon's chances of getting first place in the group, which then caused them to face GenG since they were the 2nd seed, actually. Lord. Yeah, that's why the group stage format that Riot had for the World Championship, you had a lot, like not many years where that happened, but basically if no upsets happen, then it's basically just a speed run to the final fucking matches. You know,
there were certain groups you were lucky, like, oh shit. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, they played T1 and IG in the group. All right. Everybody else is fucked.
Dude, one year it was Damwon who was the 3rd seed and IG who was the 2nd seed from the LPL against Team Liquid and some fucking AHQ, which was an LMS team, which is considered now the PCS. Like we know how that group turns out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Was EG competitive at least?
IG. No, they were still pretty good.
EG. Was EG competitive?
That was last year.
Oh yeah, that was it. Oh yeah.
Were they competitive? I mean, I guess. I mean, they don't lose to G2 7 times in a row. I mean, people were like, man, NA was better than EU last year. And I was like, not really. Like, G2 literally beat our 1st seed like 7 games in a row. That's not like hey, we're better. No, like, our 1st seed just sucked last year. Yeah, like, Cloud9 took down Fnatic and EG beat Mad Lions. But, I mean, if one of their teams beats us, our team 7 times in a row, guys, I don't know if we're better than them, really. You know, but I would say it would have been interesting to see NA play against EU during the 2nd week because I feel like the 2nd week of the World Championship last year we were better than them. But you know, at that point when you're saying that to people's face, like, hey, you're 3rd and this other 3rd place region is fighting for 3rd, and it's like usually those arguments tend to be pretty just like stupid at a certain point. You know, you're basically saying like, hey, this 3rd place region is still 3rd place because they're not better than these 2 regions right here. That's why I told people, you know. The World Championship this year should also firmly cement that these teams are just on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Like, it's just been so crazy. But what's been going on with you, man?
I had a pre-release today. I got a video coming off. Was it the opening? I got the 2nd opening. I got that. I got the 1st opening coming out tomorrow. The 2nd one coming out next week. I'm gonna try to get as many pre-releases. That's me. I got one on Saturday. That's me Friday night, get home, probably go to sleep, wake up Saturday morning because I'm doing the early one in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, nothing too much. It's been a long day today. Long day. Holy shit. Cause I didn't. Who was it? After being on the stream, I went to sleep for a bit. Woke up because I just missed the end of KT Weibo. They were off by then. Had the Pokemon regionals. Then I had the Yu-Gi-Oh regionals right back to back, like literally like within a few hours of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, oh man, I was tired. It was crazy too because it was like I forgot who it was. I think it was Rescue Ace and some other deck in the finals. I forgot who. Probably Manadium. Like I have to go back and look, but it was a wild day.
Yeah, that's why we're gonna do the TCG podcast at 8 because I'm about to get a chance to go over like some of the YCS games that happened.
Yeah.
All I got a chance to see was the feature match between the Exodia guy.
that was the one round I didn't watch. I saw Jeff Leonard. I was like, okay, he's probably doing some wacky shit. I'll watch it later. The only round I watched was the top 8, where it's Manatee versus Tearlaments and Pearly in semifinals. Pearly versus Rescue Ace. I didn't get to watch the final. I was catching up on the Pokemon and the league and watching football. Giants won, but my God, this team need help. And the refs literally gave the game to Cleveland. The refs, oh my God, these NFL refs are garbage.
But as you guys already know, if you want to catch up on all the episodes of the previous podcast we have on here, which is the Nightwing podcast, all the episodes are available. If you want to catch up on all the episodes of the Cloud9 podcast, they're available on here as well. And you can also start your journey with the Iron Man podcast, which is first 4 episodes are up on here and more will be coming. And thank you guys for obviously listening and watching the show, podcasting platforms. Thank you so much. And tonight we're going to have elimination matches, right? Yeah, there's games tonight, aren't they? Yeah, tonight is like elimination matches.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're not going to have any more games until Thursday. So Wednesday night going into Thursday, we can do a watch party because obviously I don't work Thursday. So we can do a watch party for that. I know you guys like them. We'll be able to give you guys at least one coming up this week. I know you guys like that shit. But we're only going to see best of 3s because, you know, honestly, when you're going through a lot of these BO1s, like, yes, the Swiss stage kind of made it more interesting this year, but there are some matches where, holy shit, that was a slog to get through, actually. All right, so tonight we're going to have elimination matches, and hey, it's do or die time for some of these teams now, and we're going to have to also step up as well. So let's go over some of the games that we were able to go through. So, geez, where do you even start, honestly? All right, let's just start with JDG versus LNG. Obviously, these are two of the strongest teams at the World Championship right now. And like we said before, LNG's in T1 and probably GenG are probably the only teams that can even take games off JDG, right? It's weird because at MSI, GenG didn't face JDG. So we don't know if their play style is going to work in the JDGs, right? But we know that T1's does. T1's playstyle directly does work against theirs, and we knew that LNG would at least get a game. Like you know, like okay, they can get a game off of them. I did predict them to win because I thought they were just generally playing really well, but JDG were also playing really well as well. So it's one of those things where I guess you don't really have a wrong answer because it's not like they're playing garbage. But you know, Lord, it's so tough though because it's like how we talked about with BLG as well. It's like you look at how LNG was playing up against JDG, it's not like they're getting destroyed, you know? It's not like they're completely just griefing everything. They actually destroyed JDG in game 2, remember? With the, it was when Scout was playing Silas, right? Like, they actually beat JDG in, like, less than 20 minutes, actually. It's probably, like, one of the fastest JDG losses I've seen all year. I think the biggest issue with LNG, it's not really like gameplay wise or even just macro wise or objective wise. I think the biggest problem with them is Zika doesn't really know what he needs to do if he's playing a carry. Like, people saw the game he was playing on Camille. I didn't really see him do much on Camille, you know? And he's also young, so keep that in mind too. But when he's playing a carry, when he doesn't really have a lead or anything, that's what I saw against JDG, he just looks kind of clueless. Like, he's like, oh, well, I'll just kind of arrive at team fights and just kind of do things. And it's like, if you're a team like LNG and you're going to hope to attempt to win the world championship, he's going to have to make sure he fixes that, you know? But that's really all it is. Like, it was just completely narrow team fights that LNG lost to JDG, you know? Remember in game 3, they dove Ruler and missing. They got 2 kills. And they had this big giant pressure spike with their comp in game 3, but they didn't keep the pressure up. I think they messed up their top side dive against 369. And I don't think Aatrox is that great in this meta that Worlds is in right now, but 369 definitely will make a person convinced of that he is a good champion right now. Even Doran played a good game on Aatrox as well. What you watched the JDG LNG game, right? What did you think?
I think LNG had game 3, but they started, like, their early game was better, but then they started to let it slip. And once JDG got a grip of it, it was over. Because the way they just played that late game, and they were just catching LNG out and just.
Also, this is what I noticed too: a lot of overextending too. Yep. Like, they would completely always overextend when, if their comp doesn't immediately burst someone down, they need to just immediately just start pull back, because they would constantly engage into Knight. He's playing Nico. He just pop blossoms, and then their whole comp just stops. Right. Then they also have Wukong that can just easily knock people up, and then that's just and that will be kind of LNG's biggest issue as a team, is too much over aggression in moments where you don't have it can just end up losing the game, and that's what really cost them the game, if I'm being honest. And obviously Zika not having as good a performance as 369 would do that. They also tunneled too hard on focusing on a tank. They're not a terrible team by any stretch of imagination, but if they can just iron out these small issues, you could maybe easily see this team almost making the finals. This is a really strong team. Like, they're going to clap basically probably anybody else except, JDG and or, any other or GenG as well. Like, people are thinking, well, LNG would lose to fucking Fnatic. No, that didn't happen. They actually beat the shit out of them, and they also even when Cloud9 had a chance to get ahead of them, they were like, okay, that's cool. We'll just out team fight you. Like, it's really hard to play against some of these Asian teams now, especially Scout. It's having a great tournament, actually. Like, what a guy that's completely just popping off, And I know people were ragging on him for his Ahri game, but there's really not much you can do as Ahri when your team has a bunch of, it's basically a pick comp where you're supposed to be picking people off, and then they lose momentum, and then you can't really pick anybody off. Like, with the pick comp the way they have, if you lose momentum and you can't pick anybody off, there's really not much Ahri can do, because Nico has longer range, Wukong can just dive you. So yeah, that's pretty much it for JDG versus LNG from what I saw. I mean, well, Ruler he's just putting his cock out on people. It's just what he does at this point, at the moment now. And yeah, JDG is your first team to advance to the knockout stage of the 2023 League of Legends World Championship. And then we have the next best of 3. It's GenG versus G2. This was a weird game 1. Okay, so when I was watching it, I was like, are G2 really attempting to do anything? Because they were doing stuff, but it amounted to nothing. Actually.
Yeah, I think they were trying to scale, and have a scaling game, but the issue is everything they did wasn't too impactful.
Yeah, remember, this is when they counterpicked Rakan with Lissandra, and in EU that works because the supports are terrible, but against someone like Delight, he's going to be like, okay, we'll just handshake bot lane, laning phase, and I'll just be more impactful than you in team fights. That's kind of how you neutralize the pick. They literally it didn't fight them at all. They were like, you know what? Cool. We'll just not fight you. We'll just CS, and then we'll be just more impactful in team fighting. Basically all it is. Cap's got a solo kill on the Chovy, but kind of because Chovy was being ultra disrespectful in his Silas gameplay early on. It really was because Caps just outplayed him. It's more like, why are you constantly contesting CS against Tristana at moments you know you can't? And then later on in the game, you kind of knew he was just fucking around. He actually just straight up stomped them later on as the game went on. That's even crazy too. It's like, you know, this guy is basically just fucking around, and he still just comes in and claps you. Yep. That's so bad for your mentality. And then what I also noticed with game one of G2 versus GenG was, as Chaz was saying, not only did they do stuff that just wasn't impactful, they just never really got anything for it, nor ever like capitalized on it. You know. Then Yike, the same way I criticized Zika, Yike just looked like he was so lost on what they should be doing to up the pace of the game. You know, like he didn't. Yeah, go ahead.
But I was gonna say about the pace, cause I already knew where you were going with this. Mm-hmm. Nobody really set the pace for G2. It was just like nobody in G2 really knew what to do. It was
so they had this early game comp of Renekton, Maokai, Tristana, Ezreal, Lissandra. So ideally, you're like, okay, Mickey X would go in with the claw she does and the tomb, and then you would have Yike follow up with obviously guaranteed CC. It looked like they weren't on the same page on which lane they should tackle. So it just kind of ended up in this space of like, okay, we're using Tristana. We're utilizing Tristana very well. They were moving around the map doing stuff, but it just never amounted to anything. Like it just ended up, we're like, oh, okay, so after your power spike's over, our comp was 10 times better. We'll just engage into you and you just lose. Remember, GenG has Zaya, Rakan, Silas, Lee Sin, and Jax. You know, Caps getting caught out in side lanes against Doran doesn't help because he gets caught out in a side lane against Jax. Jax just counter strikes. She can't auto attack him, and then he just jumps on you and you die. So if they play a game like that, people, it's like it sucks because you know they're much better than that, and I don't know what would contribute to a game where they have pressure, but they're applying pressure that isn't working. Is that a team coordination issue? Is that a champ synergy issue? I don't know, but it's kind of all I can say about game one. And I mean, game two is just a rather a joke, honestly. Like game two, they just like, God damn, was that a game? Because if Doran's having a good game, that means you're really fucked, honestly.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Chaz was saying last night, I don't see much value in the Ezreal pick that people do in this meta. I like Hansama picked a Lucian. I'd much rather you pick that.
Yeah, that Ezreal pick was like a safe. Okay, just shoot from the range and hope you hit something. Because it did absolutely nothing. I was like, okay, they're just what they're gonna do is just put their tank in front, have them tank shots, and yep, okay. Ezreal's gonna have no kills and like 4 deaths.
And then Bro can play. I wouldn't say he played bad this game. He just
got outplayed.
I think in game two when Peanut's on Rel, I think Peanut was just all around the map. He was just completely running the map, honestly. And it just looked like the team just broke down because they didn't know that Peanut could apply this much pressure. Because I think Yike doesn't really function very much well on Maokai. I think he would have to give him something with much more agency. So if you want Yike to be impactful, he needs to be on like Vi. He needs to be on like Lee Sin himself.
I think he does work well on
Maokai.
On Maokai, I think what it is these Korean and Chinese players know how to counter Maokai so easily. Where it's like, imagine your best champion from your in your region, you can beat anybody. But when you go to another region, it's like the whole thing where it's like in Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh! You're good at your locals, but once you go to a tournament with bigger fish, bigger fish tend to out you, and that's what happened. His Maokai wasn't good enough because
it wasn't like he was making like egregious mistakes. It just looked like he didn't know the next step to make. Because when you play against the Korean or LPL junglers, you have to know automatically what you're doing next. It has to be like, you can't stop. You got to be like, okay, we got this objective. Now we need to know exactly what we're going to do with it. Otherwise, you don't have too many windows because they know when they get a lead. They know when your cooldowns are not on. They know when your ults are not on. They know when to go in. So Yeah, go ahead.
That's less of yike, and that's more of the competition. Because you could train all you want, but if your competition, if you don't have to train for it because the competition you're usually going against is so bad that you don't have to prepare for it. Now you're in a sense where how do you teach somebody that quickly? And that's the situation.
Yeah. So what do you do? Would you give him more jungler champions with more agency so it kind of makes him have to make?
Yeah, I think what it
is that's what you can do.
I think next season what they have to do is start looking at champions that are more useful into all kinds of metas and formats and all that. In a sense where you don't have to rely on your best champion. You know how to play as an assortment of champions. And that's the thing too. It's like, okay, how do you become better? You learn like Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon, as with Link, you learn different play styles. Or in case Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon decks, you learn different champions. All right, cool. Like you can't play Maokai, you can't play this champion. The champions that you're used to, you can't play them because they're too counter. It's like with BDS. It's like, okay, you can put Adam on Garen, but then it's like, these Korean players know how to play against a Garen. It's basic. Yeah. Garen's basic. It's like, all right, cool. We're gonna let you play your game and just make sure that you do nothing else. And that's the thing. Because when I saw that, I was like, okay, this. As soon as I saw Yike go against Peanut, I was like, yeah, this is.
Yeah, he's so much of a different. And this is the thing. People don't understand. They played Adam aside together too, and it's the same thing. Yike kind of not understanding. If Peanut's applying this much pressure, how do I help my team? And it's the same thing in this one too. It's like, it's not that he's making mistakes. It's more like he needs to get more agency. So I don't know if that's more a champion thing. Is it a knowledge thing?
It's knowledge. It's knowledge because a champ.
Because he can have a champion with more agency, but if he doesn't understand how to push the pace of the game or know how to play defense in some areas of the game, that's not going to matter, honestly.
Yeah.
Because T1 are like, you know what, owner? Yeah, you get Jarvan and Sejuani. You could not push the pace of the game. It wouldn't matter. You're still going to be on something decently useful,
Yeah.
But if you can push the pace of the game, Jarvan is pretty scary when he's running at you and he's going to cataclysm you, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So what did they ban this game? Oh, they banned Draven from Hansama. Yeah, they just respect banned it. Yeah, plus they banned Kalista too from him. Yeah, there wasn't many jungle bans this game. Yeah, he could have honestly taken most things. Oh, yeah, G2 banned away Poppy, and you can't really give Peanut Poppy either. You can't really get Peanut Vi.
You can't give Peanut or Dorn Poppy.
Yeah, and the only thing that they had right now in this draft is just Sejuani. I mean, it's basically the same thing as playing Maokai at that point, just different layers of CC. Yeah, so it just has to be. He needs to understand. Okay, if Peanut is pressuring top, you need to automatically know I got to go bot, set up Dragon Vision, or take Dragon. Or if GenG are pressuring bot and potentially going to dive my bot, I need to be top lane. I need to dive my top lane or my enemy top lane opposition. I could either get Scuttle Vision. That's all he really needs to do. Other than that, there's really that's pretty much it, honestly. I mean, GenG, they also move on to the next round as well. You move to top 8, and this game. Why did this happen?
Who?
So Chaz is like, you know what? Let's stay up and watch one game. And I was like, you know what? Sure, you're probably right. Let's watch Cloud9 versus T1.
This should be competitive, right?
Right? Cloud9 had some moments against LNG, and T1 showed a little weakness here and there. So you're like, okay, maybe. No. They got absolutely, man. It's like, so picture watching porn. You're watching Adrian Achetic and Abella Danger just get absolutely fisted, just dug out completely, like clumps of shit getting pulled out. That is what this was. This was like 6 black guys on Riley Reid that one time.
Oh, God.
Like, that's what it felt like. Or it was like Jason Love and Lena the Plug. That's what it felt like in this game. Jeez. Nothing they did worked. Now, I know a lot of people I made those posts in the Cloud9 Facebook group, and I was sitting there going like, okay, let's not kid ourselves here. If they play bad at Worlds, they're not keeping some of these guys, okay? So someone was like, we spent way too much time with this team in synergy and making no. Cloud9 have got a new player every year since 2015. Okay, they've more or less so in some shape or form changed the roster. If anyone thinks the Menace is staying after this World's performance, you are literally just on massive levels of crack, or you're just a straight up fanboy, and that's just what it is. So people mentioned this about a Menace. So this person mentioned that he had Prio in lane against Faker. And I'm like, what does having Prio matter if you do nothing with it? Yeah, he had Prio to move in the map. He stood there and did nothing the entire time. Where was he at? He had Prio. He had the first push because Orianna gets to push Silas in because of her range against him.
Yep.
He really didn't do anything. It doesn't matter if he had Prio. Who gives a fuck about that? I'd rather someone have Prio and actually do something with their lead than someone have Prio and go, you know what? I'm cool with just like honestly not doing jack shit. Right? So that's why I said a Menace is a big problem right now, because you can't really give him anything that has any agency.
Yeah.
Like he just does nothing in the game. He is just something mentally broke this man, and he's just done, honestly. Maybe he can bounce back in the next rounds they have to go through in order to potentially make it to top 8. Let's be honest here, guys. Even if they make top 8, they're a free win for anyone. Like, I hate when people do that. It's like, yeah, they can make top 8. Cool. Now one team that faces them gets a free win. Like, is that going to be entertaining to watch? Is that entertaining to watch someone just get auto-destroyed? You know? Like, what are we doing here? Unless they somehow draw a less than easier LPL or LCK team. But that might not even be the case, because given how like tonight might function, there's a good chance they face Damwon.
My thing is this too: who would you take Cloud9 over? Because one of those dysfunctional LPL LCK teams might make it over them. Weibo, KT, Damwon. If G2 was to make it as well, and Cloud9 was to make it, that means two teams didn't make it that were Korean or Chinese. At least one of them.
Yeah, and then you're kind of thinking to yourself, oh, I know that this is fraudulent. Like, I know they're not as better than those two teams, you know? That's it's one of those things where, like, I feel bad for Berserker. Like last night's game, he was the only person attempting to do anything, but he can't do anything because Zen is trying his best to cosplay as a support.
Yeah,
as best he can.
He's not a supporter. He even said it. Yeah, it took me a year and a half to learn how to play support. Dude, I wouldn't have said that to anybody. I would have kept that to myself. I would have died on, man. I would have took that to the grave.
That automatically tells most supports, all right, now we just run this guy. You know?
Yep.
So in last night's game, because we're gonna bring it up right now. Let's go. T1 versus Cloud9. The last time these guys have faced off against each other was in 2017 when they were in the same group together. They haven't faced each other in quite some time, actually. Yeah, because the last time they were at an event together was 2021, but they didn't play against each other. 100 Thieves happened in their group, honestly.
Yep.
And this was like, is someone about to tell me the last time they had a competitive game against T1 was when Sneaky was on the team with contracts?
Wasn't that 2017 or 2018?
Yeah, that's when they had Jensen. That's when they had contracts, Impact, and Smoothie. Like, they
that's
had
when
a
they
game.
Top 4 worlds, right?
No, that was a year that they could have went top 4, but Reaper had messed up their drafting phase against World Elite, where he gave over this. Because back then, Galio works different than he does now. So when he got reworked, where he built a bunch of help on him, he basically just some sort of like unkillable tank. And they gave Mystic his best champion all year. So they gave them two of the most best picks you could possibly get in first rotation against World Elite. And I was like, okay, yeah, just go home. Honestly, just fucking get out of here. Honestly. Oh yeah, you're right. They did face each other last year. You're right. Yeah, I was thinking.
They faced each other. Yeah, because they were in the same group.
They faced each other last year. But
remember, Cloud9 was number 1, G2 was number 2.
You're right. Oh yeah, you're right. I flipped on that. But sorry, I'll rephrase that.
That's why Rogue was the only one that was able to make it out, and then they got instantly.
Yeah, right.
You know Riot ain't shit. They put them first and got them the fuck out. They put Rogue versus who was it? Danwan?
JDG.
JDG.
This was JDG with Yagao.
These guys got 3-0'd in under 90 minutes and got sent right back home. Like literally. Oh my god, damn, that's fucked up. I was like, damn, Riot, you really just had this team make it. Oh, we're in the bracket or knockout stage, and JDG. Oh, damn, 3-0 in 90 minutes. In 90 minutes, they get 3-0 against that home. Oh, that's depressing. And you know the fucking thing about it? No, none of those guys that are on that team anymore.
Yeah, because sorry, I'll rephrase what I said. What I mean is the last time they were competitive against T1, and it was basically back in that group stage of 2017 and 2016. They had a competitive, but they didn't get destroyed. Is what I'm trying to bring up. You know, last year it was the same thing. Last year too when they faced against them. Just all right, mop, give me the mop. A mess, just mop them up. Let's just get to the next part of the floor. You know, like guys, Fudge is not good internationally. And people say, "Well, do you kick him?" Yes. What? Well, that's not a question. Yes, you do. You make roster adjustments. That's it. Because what do you want the same thing to happen again next year? Oh, well, he's good in LCS, but at international competition, he's gonna run it. Yeah, I'm not trying to see that a third year, honestly. You know, he did great for Cloud9 for the years he was on Cloud9, but let's just be honest here. It's time you just move on from this guy. I don't even care how he plays the rest of Worlds because, you know, they're not winning Worlds themselves. So this was arguably the worst draft I've ever.
They can do anything as long as they got a menace.
So this was the worst draft I have ever seen. This draft is terrible. This draft is booty ass cheeks. So,
I'm gonna give you this. They were 2 towers away from a perfect game. Literally, if they didn't give those 2, to me, they batted a no-hitter. They gave up no deaths. This is how you know how of a difference Carrier is from then. Then imagine swapping those comps around. Do you think then would have known to turn off the turret? Think about it. Carrier, matter of fact, when we get to that play, I want to break it down because that play is probably one of the smartest plays I've ever seen. And then when I watched LS break it down,
yeah, that's what I was trying to tell people early on was like Carrier, he didn't feel like he was really playing up to like the standard that most people have him for the first few games. But honestly, this game was great from him. Actually, this was picture perfect, and you want to see him pull out picks like Bard because this is going to give them an edge in their drafting phase later on, where that's a pick that he's going to be really, really good on. Is that one of those kind of respect bands that you're going to get from him? This draft is completely terrible, people. Okay, first of all, they wasted their counter pick and gave Blabber the counter pick this time around for Belveth. Now, the reason why you wouldn't want to pick Belveth into that comp is because Belveth, if she gets engaged on, will get insta-blown up, okay? Now, she gets to a point where in the game she's pretty tanky, but given how the game went, that was never going to happen, obviously. Then they give over Rumble. First pick they chose. T1 like, wait a minute, they didn't ban on Rumble? All right, we'll just take it for ourselves. Like, what? First 2 champions they ban out. They're like, you know what? They didn't take Rumble? They didn't ban it? All right, cool. How about we just take the best champion on this patch?
Yeah, and then the pick that Silas picked, because I watched Ellis break it down. He said literally that Silas pick was Faker saying, "I do not respect the menace. I'm literally only gonna play with 3 QWE no ult." Because think about it, who does Silas ult? Whose ult does Silas steal out of those guys? Very
the only one you can really just Oriana's. That's basically just it. That has any use. Yeah, it's just Oriana's ult.
That's the only one.
I mean, and maybe Rakan's.
Like,
yeah. What happened?
No, I'm just saying that Faker was, yeah.
Oh, so All right, in the game, it was just this is domination from start to finish. All right, so the reason why it goes so bad, I know a lot of people are going to bring up the topside play. No. It was bad for minute 1. So the highlights are not going to show this. Faker places a ward right there. He knows exactly where Blabber's going to start, and I guarantee you he tells owner where Blabber's going to start. Once you know where a jungler starts his pathing, you probably can have a good guess on where he's going to be around the map. That ward right there effectively kills the effectiveness of Bel'Veth having the ability to invade and obviously put a lot of pressure down on the enemy jungler. You know, we saw that in the Mad Lions BDS game where if Bel'Veth has an angle to invade you, she will, and you're going to be very, very far behind. Figure's like, you know what? Nah, I know exactly where you're going to start. Next to a menace because he's your weakest player. That's exactly what happened. Oh, sorry, the ambulance coming down. So, and then in the top lane, Fudge is like, I'll take a carry. I'll take Jax. They picked Jax into Rumble, guys. I know James doesn't like this, but you can pick other things, you know, into Rumble that can definitely neutralize him. I mean, you can pick Kennen. I mean, you can pick Gnar. You can take Sion for all we care, you know? Taking Jax right here into Rumble is terrible. And then you see right there, they did all their damage to him and nothing happened. That's it. And Fudge was already losing lane. Fudge not only lost lane really hard to Zeus as he did last year. Well, last year he got completely destroyed. And Zeus is, and remember last year was when Fudge picked Fiora into him.
Yep.
Like this year, Zeus is like, all right, cool. I just play Rumble and I just fry you like some fucking meat. Oh God, the disrespect right there. The flash. Oh Lord Jesus, Fudge, get up. Just go home, dude. Go back to Australia, you fucking Australian piece of shit. Good Lord. Just completely, just domination from stop to finish. Remember, guys, Fudge is considered a top LCS top laner. He got railed, guys. Zen, I don't know why he's there, because they know he's there. They have fucking wards right there. Why would you be right there? You don't have your jungle at that moment, you know? So this was just... Man, this is the biggest Stomping Worlds I've seen in a very long time. Yeah, of course it happened to happen to one of my teams, right? Just go figure, right? Fuck me, right? You know? And yeah, Fudge is getting destroyed as usual. You know, owner's like, you know what? I'll just drop my flag on you. Yeah, just L. If owner's having a good game, that means you know you're fucked.
He killed him with the flag.
Also, another thing that we've noticed at Worlds this year, too. So... Not even barring even with the Mad Lions game, Blabber just, like with Yike, somehow just has no agency in the game either. Blabber just applies no pressure. He kind of only ganks for top. He doesn't gank for bot, even though bot's their strongest lane. And he kind of just leaves a menace on an island to just do whatever, hopefully, you know? I think... if they want to potentially make it to top 8, which we kind of know is probably not going to happen given their gameplay and how they're actually drafting right now, like, Blabber is definitely going to have to apply more pressure than he's probably ever applied before. Berserker is going to just need to be on a carry with agency that can self-peel, and Sven being on Recon or Nautilus or Alistar is probably the best... or Rel, best 4 champions he can play. I mean, to be fair, that is the meta right now. But they're diving between the tier 2s at 19 minutes in. They're just completely running the game right now. And it's just absolutely insane. Then Rift Herald gets summoned to top lane. And this was just, like, they didn't even feel like they had enough agency to, dive Faker in this moment either. So that's what's really hard for Cloud9 right now is you have a team where they don't really have, like, a defined playstyle right now. They don't really have a playstyle that can function very well unless they're playing up against, like, a team like Mad Lions. They're really not going to be doing anything. And based off, like, who is going to end up losing the matches coming up, you know, like, are they going to be able to, beat teams that are around their same level and or a little bit stronger. Because if they face BDS, I don't know how that's going to look. You know, if they face Team Liquid, I don't know how that's going to look. If they face off against Damwon or Weibo, you know, teams like that, they are definitely looking like one of the weakest teams at the event too. So, I mean, a game like this pretty much firmly shows that their scrims probably go like this as well. You know, as I know they're pretty big on making jokes based around their scrims. And yeah, you could just tell their scrims are probably like this too. Also, you know, their bot lane gets countered between Xayah and Bard as well. Bard could just, you know, very much throw Zeri off the wave as well. And yeah, the Bel'Veth pick here was just criminal. And the Bard ults from Keria were insanely good. But yeah, I don't know if Chaz wants to say anything else, you know, after this game. Unless you want to go on to the next one, actually.
Oh no, that Bard ult that he did where he turned off the turret that they could dive in and kill everybody. Oh my god, that is peak like support, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, there's a skill gap between the LCS and the LCK, and it's not even close. Skill gap so far. It's disgusting, man. It's disgusting. It's
just LCS second seed versus LCK second seed guys not equal. Okay, these guys are on completely different levels. You know, and I know seeding is really hard when it comes to Worlds because of how it's all generally going, but it's really bad. Like, it's pretty just watching that, I can't really feel how anyone from this region could have confidence in like LCS potentially doing well at Worlds almost ever, looking at shit like that, you know? All right, so the NRG game, you had NRG versus Mad, and I predicted NRG to win because I knew Mad would find a way to not disappoint me. They never fail to disappoint, ever, at all.
But this game was a lot closer than it should have been.
And that was because NRG. Okay, so this game honestly should have been over a while more into it.
Yeah,
this game went on much longer than it should have. Honestly,
I think it was close to 40 minutes.
Yeah, it got really dicey around the dragon fights. Actually, I thought Niski had a great game on Taliyah. Honestly. So let's go through the game. All right, so I thought Niski had a really good game on Taliyah. Palafox did one of the most criminal things I think I've seen someone do ever. He's considered like our best mid laner. People remember what he did? He stole Taliyah's ult, then ulted into 4 people. That's what our best mid laner did. That actually happened. He literally could have just ulted downwards, but he ulted into 4 people. Keep that in mind, okay? Then, what really saved him this game, honestly, was Dokla. Like, Dokla saved him. Dokla saved him this game. He was having a great game, barring the pressure that he got. I thought FBI played the team fights as honestly as well as he could have. I think the Nyla pick was really good into Kai'Sa as well. And I like seeing picks like that could come out and be as effective as the top meta champions that people are playing right now. Because I told people I don't really think Kai'Sa's been all that effective, honestly, as people are trying to utilize it for certain comps. Because I thought the Nyla pick was perfectly good into it, honestly. El Yuya had a criminal game. I don't know what team he was playing for, but he wasn't playing for Mad Lions. Because he was just running it really hard. El Yuya's this man just had a rough year, you know, being on an org that he just doesn't want to be on anymore, you know. Carzzy continues to be like their best player. I mean, Hylissang is...
He's Hylissang.
Intisang. That's what we should start calling him now.
Intisang.
Chasey had Rumble, and that might have been one of the most unimpactful Rumbles I have ever seen in my life, honestly. Like, look at the way Zeus plays Rumble, and you look at the way Chasey plays Rumble. You're sitting there thinking to yourself, like, okay, there's definitely a difference there. Yeah. There's definitely a difference in skill there, you know? And people are going to say, well, what's a Doka like 0-3? If you're watching the actual game, he was fine for the most part. It was only 0-3 because of the jungle pressure that he got. Other than that, he was playing just fine, honestly. But there's really not much you can do. And if you're Jace, if you get put behind early on, the best thing you can do is later on, if they're not respecting your split pushing capabilities, to honestly just start split pushing. Palafox, he backdoor, did he not? Who was the one that backdoored? I'm pretty sure it was
Palafox. Oh my god, when they had the dragon and
Palafox. Oh yeah, classic trade. Elder for Nexus.
Yep.
That
oh my god. And
classic.
You can tell Bad Lion was just, they were so, you could tell they were just done. They was like, fuck this. How the hell we literally just gave up Nexus because they literally pushed it down and no one saw it. Okay, there's
there's also, I'm pretty sure there's wards in this base too to see that kind of shit.
Yep.
Oh, that's also why. Yeah, they didn't respect that he could have potentially just ended. I mean, it's Silas at 40 minutes in the game. He'll tear down turrets by himself at that point. Like, how do you feel about NRG right now? They won against Team Liquid and they won against Mad.
That's not. I'm happy that they won, but it. It's good. It's like, all right, Palafox comes out, just claps everybody. Everybody's down. And then they wait about 7 minutes. And then it's a 4v5 at the moment. And I think the only one that noticed was this guy, Chasey. It was Chasey was the one that noticed. Something ain't right. There's only it's a 4v5. And he teleports immediately. He goes to the bus. He just teleports, or not teleports. What's recalls back to the base, and Palafox is just taking down the tires. By the time Chasey got there, it was too late. Literally, got there right as the Nexus was blown up. Whew.
Yeah, guys, that's peak NAEU right there. It's just like the game wasn't even that hard for NRG.
They just made they like playing easy games on difficult. It's like, dude, that why?
I don't get it. Like FBI is walking melee range into a Rumble and a Talia. What are you doing, dude? Like, holy absolute crap. I want to see the comments after that NRG T1, NRG Mad Lions game. Guys, people gotta go read the comments after these games. This shit is so criminal.
It's so funny. Oh my god, I can't. And then I'm gonna say, I can't wait for Palafaker to go. No, I can't wait for the real faker to go against the Korean faker. It was called Palafaker, the real faker. I was like, okay, yeah. Because I'm telling you right now, if NRG fucks up the way they do against T1, it might not go to the way it's going to go.
Messing up your early game against Mad is one thing. You mess up your early game and pressure you have against T1, yeah, they're about to be like, cool, now we just kind of win. All right. Matt is so consistent. They never fail to disappoint. That's true.
That is true. They're consistent. It's like,
as someone who loves to watch Mad domestically, please don't ever send them to Worlds again. Yeah, please.
Not with this iteration of the team. Get Elyoya a new team.
Get everyone a new team. Just burn the rock. Burn the org down at this point. Yes, Elder Dragon for Nexus. A classic trade. Yep, we all know about that one. Trading Nexus for Dragon.
Yep. I know more ways than one, Jesse. Or Bears for Nexus. Nexus for Nexus. Oh, Jesus. Literally.
Oh, God.
It was a speed run to see who Nexus is going to fall first, but yours falls first because you have no talent. The other team has two.
Bro, how is G2 2-1 by beating LPL and LCK 4 seed and NRG are mad is 2-1 by beating an EU and an NA team. Man, NRG use this god of a draw, and if you don't face G2 in the next round, clutch up BO3 and advance to quarters would be amazing. Yeah, if they don't draw G2, there's a just good chance they can win a clutch BO3 and just make it, honestly.
Okay, I'm looking at all the 2-1 teams now because LG, G2, KT, BLG. Should I say? Yeah, I said. Yep, NRG, LNG. So this
is the most criminal one, which is that Palafox's stolen ult from Talia, throwing him right into mad players was just fucking depressing. And the fact that he's the mid laner from the #1 NAC makes things even more miserable.
It lets them know how dog shit the NA. Pretty much this what it is. There's G2, LG, T1, NRG, BLG, and KT. There's 2 Chinese teams and there's 2 Korean teams. And then a good chance we'll end up with G2 versus NRG because the way these fucking draws have been going is bullshit. How the fuck do we got 4 Asian teams and the 2 Western teams end up watch? I'm telling you right now. I swear to God, G2 and NRG ends up together. I'm making sure Reddit just blows just goes on a goddamn rant against Riot. There's a 66% chance NRG is gonna face 666, probably a little less chance that NRG is gonna face the Asian team, or no, 80% chance. 80% chance out of the 5 teams. And they're gonna get G2? Oh Jesus. Come on, son. This is bullshit. Like, what
someone said replace Palafox with Perks. I'm like, no, that would be a downgrade. What? Yeah, replace a decent player with someone who turbo sprinted it all year. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's always a classic good one that teams have learned throughout the many years. LAC caster and analysts really be wondering why fans hate Mad Lions. The thing here with G2 that's different from Mad is when G2 did badly at international events, they stopped. They actually started doing better. There was a trajectory that they had. Now that they're like one of the best Western orgs, and they're probably like the West's best shot at ever kind of doing anything internationally. Yeah. Like usually when they're out, you're kind of like, we're fucked, honestly.
And you know what it is also with G2? G2 makes content where we actually get to know who the players are. That's why you tend not to hate them. You're like, oh, okay. Caps is a funny, awkward guy. Perks could sometimes be an asshole. And all that. Yankos is nice. It's like, and like with this year's team, Yikes, the young brother. Hassan was just a quiet Asian kid in the quarter. Caps is the happy-go-lucky. Broken Blade is the one that's always cheerful, and Mickey X is like the actual godfather. I think he's the old. Him and Caps must be the oldest out of all the guys. It's like, and
it's so weird, man, because like G2 had the same thing, but G2 only really had that for like 1 year. At the MSI the next year, well, they kind of struggled in the best of 1 stage, but they managed to make the finals literally outside of like 2016 and some and then basically after 2016 they failed at those events. 2017 it wasn't as bad. You started to kind of notice there was this org is starting to getting together. 2018 and onwards, it's been good for them. You know, Mass just never had that though. It's not because of players too. It's just I don't really know what's wrong with this org, man. Like they're 1-7 internationally, and the only one they've gotten in these last international events was against their own team.
Yep,
they lost 3-0 to EG. Okay. Didn't they go to MSI this year? They lost all 6 games there.
No, it was 3-1.
Did they beat G2 at MSI this year? Did they? I don't remember, honestly. I truly don't remember. I usually always remember them going winless.
I do know they got absolutely demolished by T1 in what is
no, I forgot G2. Like I forgot G2 beat them 3-0. Yeah.
Oh, so 3-0-2?
Yeah, I remember it was 3-0. I remember. Yeah.
I knew the T1 one was 3-0 and
that means they're what, 3-6-9? Really? 3-6-9. God damn it. So they're basically that's 0-9 right there.
Yep.
And then they lost to Cloud9, so that's 0-10. They're 1-10. Their last 2 international events. Oh God, they're trash. Throw this org away.
Yep. Free hashtag free Alioya.
Also, let's not forget at MSI 2020, no, at Worlds last year. Remember that best of 5 they faced up against Fongbu Buffalo or some shit? They almost lost that one too. Let's not forget that too. There are some moments in there that Vietnamese team could have did more, but they obviously won that one. So Mad at the last 3 international friends have a record of 1-10, and the only win that they got was against an EU team.
Oh Jesus.
I think NA just owns Mad. That might be an org they paid under the table to be like, hey, can we get some free wins out of you? And you're like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, let's give you some free wins. Because let's also be honest here. The only wins NA's really gotten outside of just beating their own was just beating Mad. Like NRG beat Mad. Cloud9, as bad as they are, beat Mad.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Cloud9 are terrible. And they beat Mad. Mad is just... They should go 0-3 drop. Why does anybody want to watch these guys anymore? Just go 0-3 drop. Go home, just hire some prostitutes to suck Niski off and jerk off his fucking French cock. I don't know anymore.
Oh, shit.
All right, let's go to the next game. Fnatic BLG. Noah is just a KDA player. Let's be honest here. Noah is a fat KDA player. Noah got 3 kills on Kai'Sa and did nothing. Humanoid played a Kali like he was on crack. Not good crack. He played like he was drinking fucking autism pills or some shit. He was horrible on Akali. The only person that really played well for Fnatic and against BLG was just Oscarinen on his Poppy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, Humanoid played like shit. The Fnatic bot lane, they got Noah ahead. Imagine this. Imagine drafting Kai'Sa. It's already hard for Kai'Sa to get kills early on. She has barely any damage. You get him 3 kills. He does nothing.
Absolutely
Holy
nothing.
Shit.
Absolutely nothing. Not just nothing. Absolutely nothing.
He literally straight up walked up to people and just CS'd, and he just hit champions with his Q. That's it.
Yep.
That is just a KDA player. And it's crazy because earlier when they first got him, he was being aggressive. He was being a strong ADC that they needed, but he's also another guy, just like a menace to a certain level. He came out swinging and then has just become weaker and weaker over time, honestly. Like if Fnatic had Carzzy, you're thinking they might actually have a decent team there with him, honestly.
Yeah.
There's no way. Imagine you give Ruler, Elk, Aiming, Gumayusi 3 kills on any ADC pick. The game is over, essentially,
You see, that's the difference between them. That's the difference between the LCK and LCS. It's sad. It's sad to say it, but
even EU teams have it even worse sometimes because at least against the LCS teams, you're like they have really no chance at all. EU teams will start off with a lead, doing exactly what they're gonna do, but then they just progress and do nothing.
Yep.
So even the teams get leads from the West, and they just sit there and do nothing with it. And I know people don't always lumping together the West. That's why I make sure they always say NA or EU.
Yeah.
When it comes to the EU teams against the Asian teams, it's not that they can't be aggressive, and it's not like we know they can't make it closer than it looks. It's the fact that sometimes the players are just scared to do anything. Noah quite literally got 3 kills and did nothing. Humanoid would TP into Devices Akali and just miss every ability. I felt like I was watching our ARAM games, actually. It's just bad, honestly. That's why it feels bad for BLG, too. It's BLG's man, we're better than this. We gotta face Fnatic. Fucking shit, man. We're about to run through these fools, And the problem with Fnatic's comp is, you draft Poppy and Ivern and Akali. on Kaisa, and it's like, well, where's your DPS at? Oh wait, he's supposed to be your Kaisa, but he just kind of does nothing.
Yeah.
What did you think about the? Did you watch the BLG Fnatic game?
I watched all the. People think, "Oh, Fnatic's through." No, that's why they got so.
They would have not. They should have. If they had an Aphelios in this game, maybe Noah has more agency. But this thing we're talking about agency is like you can't. It's not just all in the champion if you have agency. The player themselves need to have that urgency to do something when they know they're strong. So I guess that's why they gave a Kali to Humanoid. But little did they know that his hands maybe were going through some arthritis phase where he couldn't land any abilities or some shit, you know?
Exactly.
Like, I don't know what you do with some of the, with fucking can't speak. I don't know what you can do with some of these teams from NA or EU outside of just like G2 because it's just the issues are just too damn high, honestly. At a certain point in the game, because they had no damage, they couldn't even kill Elk.
Yep. And that was the point where the game was lost. It was like, yep, this is completely over. It's sad because I was like, damn, this team's actually good. It was like you look, you're like, damn, this team's actually doing good, but they just can't get it to work.
That's so frustrating too. It's like you got a good idea in draft, it's working out really well, and you're thinking your players are going to constantly push the pace of the game when they have a lead. But just no, that doesn't happen, honestly.
Yep. You're just sitting there like, shit. Like, sometimes we just got to sit back and say, shit, damn, we fucked up. All right, next. So sometimes you just got to, let it go and move on. But that one was tough, man. That was a tough game. That was a...
Yeah, because... It's not like the draft is bad. It's just more like, what do you do? You have your setup in your top side. You have the burst damage in the Akali and she can side lane, and she has the agency as a champion. But your mid laner runs it completely so hard. I thought Humanoid. Remember, Fnatic fans kept saying, "Oh, Humanoid will step up at Worlds. He's gonna do so well at Worlds." It was crazy. He played better last year's Worlds when he was with Upset. Gee, I wonder why. It's almost as if like Upset was like, "Hey, you need to stop fucking around and get your shit together." But remember, guys, that's toxic. Oh, boo-hoo for Humanoid. Rich as hell. Guy told him to step his shit up. No, I can't. I can't play with this guy.
He's crying, wiping his tear with $100 franc. Like, I'm still rich.
That's the reason why Fnatic don't have Upset is because Upset is apparently not like hard to work with. They just didn't want to. Upset did not want to play with Razork and Humanoid again. That's kind of what it was. And I think it was more Humanoid than Razork. I think Razork could make it work, honestly. Because Razork made it work with Reckless of all people, honestly.
and let's talk about this. They get rid of Reckless in Upset too, but they get rid of Reckless in that Worlds. Just think about that. I told you sometimes a player might be good for a team, or a team might be good for a player to be on, but a player might not be good for a team. It's work environments, people. Remember, sometimes like you might have to blow up a team and do worse and then get better. Like, because a team just has reached its limit. But man, I'm kind of glad that they got Noah and Tribby. Like, that's a good combo in a sense. But they need to get rid of Humidor. They need to get him to
his contract's over after 2 years. That they signed him in 2021.
I'm gonna tell you right now, depending on how Fnatic goes out the Worlds, he might have to get his own flight home. He ain't flying with us.
No, sorry. Oh my God, he signed in 2022. They had Niski in 2021. But you guys see the point. It's been 2 years. Usually, esport contracts for guys for everyone ends up in 2 years. If they stay after the first year because some miracle reason for whatever contract bullshit, he's done after this year. Because what I learned is his contract is apparently so big that it's basically you'd lose more money trying to move him than just to keep him yourself, honestly.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, no, there's contracts like that in sports where yeah, because it's like cap hit, and then it's like dead money, and then money because you still gotta pay him, but then he's on another team competing against you. Yeah, that's a whole. Yeah, that's a whole pain in the ass because pretty much it's like imagine getting fired from your McDonald's, but then but then you're getting paid at another restaurant and they have to pay you to work there. That's what it is. Those contests are just so freaking weird. But yeah, man, it's whew. I just I don't know. I was fanatic. I don't know what to say because the biggest thing I want to say is this. I think the team's in a good spot. Humidor is definitely the weakest link. That's not even close.
Right? Yeah.
Like it's not even close. It's
There's also another big issue where I have this thought in the back of my head where if they face off against rather simpler competition, that they could get it together. But then I look at that GAN game and I go, God damn, you guys almost ran it this one too.
Yeah, because they played down too much and he would have just not good anymore. He's just not.
Yeah, it's just what it is now. They tunneled so hard on keeping Razork and Humanoid. I don't know why, but the Razork choice panned out on that front.
Yeah,
but the Humanoid choice
probably won't. That probably's gonna come back and bite it in the butt. That's one of those things where sometimes you, in a sense.
Also, remember during the BLG game, Trimby's criminal Alistar engages are so bad. You know, this guy also is weak mental, gets into his head, can't play properly. You know, it's so bad. I can't do it. Fnatic. Jeez, that's not even a heartbreaking game. It's just more like, what can you do? Actually, when you have a team that has agency, even in the champions that you pick in drafting phase, they can't make it work. That's just all bad. All right, the last games to go over are it's just KT versus Weibo. I mean, this game pretty much just boils down to just aiming is so good at team fighting. Honestly, like aiming has been, I think, the best player on KT so far for this World Championship. I think PUD's quietly had a pretty good tournament overall. But I do think aiming has been so good in team fights, dodging multiple skill shots, avoiding multiple engages from a lot of champions, waiting for his flash at the best opportune moment to use it to either be aggressive or go forward. Lehens also insanely good. They have a really, really strong bot lane for KT.
Yeah.
I told people that going into this tournament, they have one of the best bot lane. They're probably the most slept on bot lane in the event, actually. You know?
Yeah.
Like these guys just know how to just play out team fighting really well. Like Lehens is engaging and he's just playing so well. That's good for KT. But let's think about KT. It's not ever if they play good, because that could vary from year to year. Just don't get excited. That's it.
Yeah.
Until I see a trophy being held in their hands, you just never get excited, okay? That's it.
Imagine if KT would have got the first seed, and it's like, oh, KT, you got the option to face who you want to face, and then they choose T1 again in the knockout stage. Imagine if KT would have got the first seed, and they have the option to pick, and they end up picking T1 to lose. Just find the whole coaching staff at that point. That decision is just gonna haunt them for the rest of the time. Man, that shit's funny. But yeah, this is that KT Weibo game. That was a good series. That was a good game.
Like KT, they know how to make things competitive and interesting. I'll say that, because they lost to BLG, but that was a really close game in general. That's not a game you go, well, we got stomped. No, yeah, they were really in that game. They completely clapped Damwon. That was not even close at all. And then they faced against Weibo, and it looked pretty. It was pretty good from their point of view. Like, these games are really close, but they know exactly when they're strong enough to honestly get in there and win. That's why it's always hard to not favor Korean teams when they're in best of ones too, because they're just really good at knowing when to push the pace of the game and cooldowns, and they're just just great at the game, apparently, you know? All right, now we're going to move on to our last portion of the show for this episode for this week. We won't. Okay, so the next episode we can have is kind of like how we did earlier this week. We'll have one on Thursday, you said, or Friday.
We could do it
the same time at Friday, 9:30. Yeah. So that way we'll be able to recap the games coming up and Thursday's games as well. So we'll have 4 best of 3s to recap.
And the good thing is, I don't gotta go all the way to New York for a pre-release. I could go to my Yu-Gi-Oh local for the Pokemon pre-release because they finally got it. Because I did go to the one this week because I was busy. But next week I'll be able to go to my Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh local for Pokemon on Saturday instead of going all the way to New York. That's me. I still have to get up at the same time, but I don't gotta go all the way to New York City. Thank God. Oh, God. Woo! Let's go. I'm happy for that. That's good.
All right. So after the TL and D+ games, the games don't start up again until Thursday, October 26th. So
and then now they're all going to be the best. After no, actually no.
Is it from now on? It's all going to be best of 3s.
Yeah, it's all best of 3s after last night. It was all best. It's best of 3s because these are the 1 and 2 matches. I'm assuming. I'm trying to see. Okay. No, okay, that's what it is. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 1 and 2 matches. Now I'm trying to think because there's 6 2 and 1 matches. I'm trying to think. Okay, I'm trying to see. Okay, I have to see how they. Oh, okay. No, I have to go to that schedule. Standings. Okay, right now. Okay, all the 2-0 teams are in. There's. Okay, let me see. God, they gotta put that dog in a kennel. That dog is about to die. He is so sick. It says, okay. Okay, this is what it is. Okay, no. Wait a second. How does that work? Oh, okay. Okay, that's what it is. All right. They can't do the what's the thing they usually do? The selection show to tonight's games. That's what it is. Okay. That's me. Once D+ Key and BDS play and Team Liquid and Game play. Sorry about that. I was looking at something. D+ and BDS. Whoever wins those matches, they get put into with Mad Lions, Cloud9, Weibo, and Fnatic. Like, okay. Whoever makes that, those 4 teams are already in the 1 and 2 bracket. And then with D+ and whatever team wins tonight, and those who loses tonight are out. Okay. And then after that, we come back to 27th, 28th. It's weird. Okay. Because this whole thing is walking great. The 1 and 2 matches. It's weird because the way they're doing it is the 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 are going to be back to back over a span of 3 days. The 1 and 2 matches are going to be first. I think what they're doing is because whoever the first 2 matches, whoever wins gets put into the 2 and 2 matches. They go and the teams that go 1 and 3 are done. All right, cool. Now you'll have 3 teams for the 1 and 2. You'll have 3 teams for the 2 and 1. That's mean the 29th is where they're going to just give us 3 best of 3s all in the same day.
Yeah. So the next time so the next watch party we're going to do. So the watch party we're going to do next is Wednesday night going into Thursday, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And then the games that we're going to recap. In the Cloud9 podcast we're going to have is basically not Thursday. It would be Thursday night. No, it's Friday.
No,
Actually, it's Friday.
It's going to be after. Okay,
so it'll be after the 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's going to be
after the 6 BO3s, right? Yeah. It'll be Friday 9:30 PST. So we be recapping the Friday morning games, Thursday morning games.
But the thing is, we won't know who, because the way this bracket now sets up is, we won't know. Mm-hmm. The main thing we'll know is who's home, who got sent home, in a sense. Because I think they're doing the 1 and 2 matches first, and then the third one is going to be, I'm assuming the third one is going to be the first one. The first game on the 27th is going to be the first 1 and 2 game, and then the second 1 and 2 game is going to be the 27th. Whoever wins that first 2 and 1 game, they go. They're the third team, and then 4 and 5, and then 4 and 5. Whoever wins those 2 and 1 matches, they're 4 and 5. They'll be ascending, and whoever loses will be the 2 and 2 bracket. Now those will be the last 6 teams. There'll be 3 teams left. We already know who the first 2 teams are: GenG and JDG. Boom. In that sense, that's me. It's gonna be complicated because they're splitting the brackets in over 3 days before they give us the final 2 and 2 bracket over a span of 1 day. That's mean, because it's gonna be 3 a.m., 6 a.m. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 29th, 12 a.m., 3 a.m., 6 a.m. And then boom. And then we'll get another game to Thursday, November 2nd. That's where we start our best of 5s. Yep.
So, we'll be having another episode of the Cloud9 podcast at 9:30 PST on Friday. So we'll be able to recap Friday and Thursday and Wednesday. Sorry, it'll be tonight's games. Yeah, we see Monday morning's games, Thursday morning games, and Friday morning games. Okay. Anything else you want to say before we head out, actually?
No, these next couple of games are going to be fun. These next couple of games are going to determine a lot of people's careers over the next couple of years. I'll tell you that right now. It's like, because this is I would make a bold prediction. Mm-hmm. Like, because I will give my layout. I think LNG, G2, T1, BLG, KT, and D+. I think D+ will be the only 0-2 team that makes it back, and they make it out. I believe they make it out. I think Weibo's going to falter at the end. Mm-hmm. Yep. In my opinion.
So we have the 2 games, Team Liquid versus GAM. Pretty sure people are just going to go with Team Liquid on that one.
Yeah, hopefully.
D+ versus BDS.
D+, but
I think if D+ win, I still don't think that'll just change any outcome for their team. They're still the weakest Asian team at the event, honestly. They would have to come in and really, really, really dominate this game, honestly. But for Team Liquid, if they somehow got upset by GAM, the whole org is getting burnt.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen because GAM were just so terrible. But
they are so terrible. But you got to be like, these teams, these Asian teams, they do scrim a lot of these Chinese Korea teams. Mm-hmm. That's me.
If NRG gets out of Swiss with G2, imagine a world where G2 and NRG both get out to top 8. Oh, God, how much of the free wins they're going to be.
What Asian teams don't make it out there?
That's the problem.
D+ and Weibo?
The only outcome of that is basically just Weibo or D+ don't make it. I could easily see D+ not getting in the top 8. They're so bad right now. It's not even close. Yeah. So at least that guarantees a Western team in. And if I have to pick a Western team to be in, I'm just going to choose G2. I think NRG is just so bad, honestly. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching another episode of the Cloud9 podcast. We'll see you guys at 9:30 p.m. PST this Friday coming up, and then you'll also get another episode of this show on Sunday, 5:30 p.m. PST. Told you guys we're gonna do some more content for Worlds this year, and that's what we're doing. Chaz is also still black.
I'm still black, and love me some Mexican.
You can't have mine, but you can go get your own.
I would take all three. What are you talking about?
Goodbye, everyone. Have a great day. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I have more content dropping this week, and more pre-recorded videos you guys will thoroughly enjoy. See you guys later. Hashtag C9 win and hashtag GenG win.
Mexican cream pies.